Uh, Good evening to all of you. Right. Today, the session is important. All of you have got shortlisted for the interview of Bharat Electronics Limited. As a matter of fact, if we look at the list of organizations who are pioneering in professional electronics equipment, I would say that BEL would be at number one. Equipment. I'm not talking about components, I'm talking about equipment, right? And we'll take a look at what is important for us to prepare for an interview for which you have been invited. You have been shortlisted by Bharat Electronics Limited. There are only two venues. One is Bangalore and one is Ghaziabad. In fact, Bangalore unit is the oldest, started off in the year 1954, and Ghaziabad came much later. Ghaziabad came almost, I would say, after 20 years, if I'm not wrong, probably in 73 or 74 it started, right? And I had the good fortune of starting my professional career with Bharat Electronics Limited at Bangalore. I was in the design and engineering department, D&D. We never used to call it as research and development, but we used to refer to it as design and engineering. And I was in the department specific was R&D 8, which was devoted for microwave communication equipment design and engineering, right? Brief background, but let's get going. I'll be taking you through a series of documents. I'll be taking you through a series of documents. You have received it, but when I bring it in front of you on the screen by way of sharing the PDF, I think it will make a lot of sense to understand what is essential for us to be prepared with and what can be left without so much of preparation, right? I'll be making use of PPT, but most of the contents of the PPT will be shared by way of a mail, which will be sent to you tomorrow. In fact, the mail will be sent to all those candidates who have submitted their call details along with the call letter to interviews@madeeasy.in. You can, if you have not submitted, fair enough, you can submit it today or tomorrow so that the mail can be sent to you with the links which will help you in preparing for this interview. BEL, as you all know, is an organization which is known for making a lot of equipment to meet the defense needs of our country. In fact, BEL was the and still is probably the only organization in India which makes radars for use by Army, Navy, Air Force, as well as for civilian use. In fact, one of the possible equipments which you might have come across on the roads is the speed gun which the traffic cops are using to detect whether you are overspeeding or not. All right. So that's one of the civilian equipments which the radar division is making. In fact, this is commonly referred to as Doppler radar, which is being manufactured at the Ghaziabad unit, unless they have shifted the making of this Doppler radar, the speed gun, as we commonly refer to it as, to any other unit, right? We'll try to understand, try to go through the various units of BEL, the various product and business lines of BEL. You have to know the name of the chairman and managing director. You don't have to necessarily know the nitty-gritties of the financial details of the performance, but yes, it will be good if you can remember the total turnover of Bharat Electronics Limited for the financial year for which the financial results have been published. In fact, the latest annual report, which is available on the website of Bharat Electronics Limited, is for the financial year 23-24. Even though they have also published the audited financial result summary for 24-25 also. All right. I'm only hoping that whatever I'm speaking is being easily understood by you without any issues. I don't make use of any difficult words and I don't speak at a very fast pace. I'll respond to your queries only after I have finished, right? Though I'll keep taking some queries which might be coming on the YouTube or which might be coming on with some of the candidates, some of the students have connected with me on Zoom also. But nevertheless, I'll be covering practically every single query which has been mailed by way of your remarks in the worksheet which we have when you submitted your call details. I'll cover practically every point that has been highlighted by some of you, the concerns which you have expressed. I'll try to cover all of them. And as we proceed, definitely we'll take up the questions as they keep coming along. I hope audio and video is clear enough to you. You are able to see everything without any difficulty. I have connected on an alternate device. I have connected it on my iPad and I'm able to see. Let me check whether my audio is also okay or not, because I don't want you to miss any single word. Yes, it's pretty connected. It's pretty connected and the audio is also clear enough. Right. As I said, I'll make use of a PPT which will help you stay connected and keep on identifying what is needed for us to see. And I'll keep bringing and keep sharing the documents which are relevant for you for the purpose. The weightage of the interview is not very clearly spelled out. But like in BHEL's case, as I said, the BHEL's cutoff was BHEL's interview weightage was 25%. I'm not very sure of the weightage of BEL interview, but because it's only a written test and an interview, and for technical positions, I would expect it also to be in the vicinity of 75% weightage for the written score and 25% weightage for the interview, right? That's what is my expectation. But please don't hold me responsible in case there is any variation. The point is you have to put your best foot forward. You have to put your best foot forward so that you are able to excel. All right. Number of messages have been floated. No, not many. All right. Not on the chat. So that's okay. Right. You can hold your messages till such time as I convey it to you, and I'll address every single question. But on the YouTube, I think you should avoid Learning Beast, Vinayak. Vinayak, you have already attended the ONGC interview guidance session. Yes, I am not going to be getting into the details to which I have gone in the ONGC interview guidance session. Here, the focus will be mainly for BEL centric. Here, the focus will be BEL centric. The common part which is applicable for every PSU, I'll want you to do a little bit of homework for you. All right. And that homework is that those of you who have not participated or joined any of the earlier interview guidance sessions, in that case, you should go for watching those videos. Those videos are available on the YouTube channel of Made Easy. So you can watch that particular video. I'll specify the timeline from where to where will be relevant. And then obviously there are some questions which are though answered in the ONGC session also, but they will have some BL oriented answer. So that's something, which we will try to modify to. Okay. I'm told that the interview weightage is 15%. That means the CBT score has a weightage of 85% and interview has a weightage of 15%. That's fair enough. That has been the norm. In fact, I should not have forgotten. I'm so sorry that I made this mistake. I remember the case of one candidate who had written to me. I'm talking about almost 6 years back. He was a candidate from the reserve category, and he said that, sir, despite the fact that I have the highest score in the written exam, I am not shortlisted for the offer. And then I said, okay, file RTI. So when he filed the RTI, his category was reserve category. Therefore, he was expected to get 30% in the interview. which means 30% of 15 would be 4.5 marks. But he had been given not 4.5, but 4 marks. The reason why he did not get shortlisted, despite the fact that his written score was phenomenally good. In fact, he had 78 out of 85 out of the when prorated for out of 85. His score in the written exam was 78, and he got only 4 marks in the interview. Because the cutoff for reserve category in the interview was 30%, therefore he did not get even in the wait list. So, clear message to you now, which I'm wanting to convey is the cutoff for the interview for consideration in selection and or waitlist is that you must get at least 40% for general OBC and EWS category and for 30% for the other categories. So this is something which is an important point which must be remembered. Let me put it in the slide also so that I can cover it. Just give me a moment. Right. So I think that being the background, and we'll cover more points as we move along. I'll just share this slide with you so that we can refer to it in time from time to time. I'll put it in the maximum size. Yes, I think this is fine now. I hope nobody is having issue in terms of listening or hearing me. I'm loud and clear. See, when we are preparing for BEL interviews, obviously there are a few guidelines which are very important to be kept in mind. Most important guideline is do not boast about your knowledge. This is something which is the most hated trait of any candidate. Suppose you are trying to throw your weight around and trying to be extraordinarily intelligent, even though your answers are precise, even though your answers are accurate and correct, you may still not get the qualifying marks. So be clear, be humble, because humility is the best virtue, right? So don't boast about your knowledge, don't throw your weight around. Be thorough with the related subject. They're not going to ask you to solve numericals. Obviously, the discussion is going to be around the results which they want to discuss, subject related only. Be clear with the basics of the subjects chosen. Don't suddenly jump to the seventh chapter of a book, but be clear about the basics. Be clear about the basics, right? The duration of the interview can be 20 to 25 minutes. I'm using the term 20 to 25 minutes. It's a big band, but it can be less, it can be more. And my interview in BL was an exception. The duration of my interview in Bangalore, the date was 19th of October 1976. The duration of my interview was precisely less than 60 seconds. And that is something which was a shock for me as well as for a number of my batchmates. We had gone together for the interview process at BL Bangalore. When I went in and came out, the first question they asked me was, "Kursi ke upar कील लगे हुए थे?" I said, "No, there were no nails on the chair, but you will know when you go in." Obviously, whenever we are appearing in a college viva, the first thing that you people do after the candidate comes out of the examiner's room is क्या क्या सवाल पूछ रहे थे. The same anxiety, the same set of questions were asked from me also. I said I was asked nothing, and literally I was asked nothing. First question, what is your name? Sir, my name is Dinesh Kumar Arora. Okay. Second, where would you like to get posted? Bangalore or Ghaziabad? Sir, I would prefer to work in Bangalore. Okay, good. Third and the last question, why Bangalore? Sir, I have lived all my life at home. I want to live life independently for a few years. The three panel members, one being the head of HR, the other person was Professor S. Sampath, who later became the director of IIT Kanpur, and he was at that time additional general manager, design and engineering. And the third member, I don't remember. I really don't remember the name of that gentleman. Now, this was a panel for electronics candidate, and the response was, okay, thank you very much, you may go. This was the entire content of my interview, neither plus nor minus. And you can imagine the duration could not have been more than 1 minute. But no, it will not happen with you. It will never happen with you. So be clear, be ready with technical questions, answers to the technical questions, ability to explain. One of the students had written, Sir, my communication skills are not good. I'm going to give you some inputs to improve your communication skills. Communication skills do not refer to your ability to speak English at a fast pace. No, बिल्कुल नहीं है ऐसा. Don't mix up clarity of speech with communication skills. If you are able to convey your point across in an effective manner, whether you speak in English, whether you speak in Hindi, whether you speak in, at a very slow pace, it is good communication. The point is, एम्बिग्विटी नहीं होनी चाहिए आपके आंसर्स में. जो आप कहना चाहते हैं वो सामने वाले को क्लियर वर्ड्स में आपने एक्सप्रेस करना है. डोंट मिक्स अप. डोंट मिक्स अप. If you are asked Kirchhoff law, stay tuned to Kirchhoff law. If you are asked Maxwell's equation, stay tuned to Maxwell's equation. If you are asked Bernoulli's theorem, stick to Bernoulli's theorem. If you are asked elasticity versus plasticity, be clear about what do the two terms mean, right? So be clear about what is being asked from you and give the answer which is strictly relevant to that. Don't try to beat about the bush. अगर आपको किसी सवाल का आंसर नहीं आता तो पूछने वाले को घुमाने की कोशिश मत करना. दिस इज नॉट कॉलेज वाइवा. प्लीज रिमेंबर दैट. College Viva, you had a tendency of taking the examiner, for a round of the college campus without making him get out of the chair. Don't even attempt such a thing in any technical interview, in any organizational interview. That will be the worst thing to have happened to you. Please don't do that. Okay? If you know the answer, give the answer to the question. If you don't know the answer, take a brief pause. Sorry, sir, I don't know. नुकसान नहीं होगा अगर आप बोलते हो कि सर मुझे इसका आंसर नहीं आता. नो लॉस. But if you try to give an answer without knowing the answer, and then obviously you are giving a fake answer, or you are, giving, wild guesswork, definitely the damage is done. If you are found bluffing the interviewer, even though you have the highest of credentials, you might have got 104 marks out of 125, which is the highest possible for a mechanical engineering candidate in this particular selection process. You will not get selected. You will not get selected. The result will be the same. If you are a category candidate, you will get 4 marks. If you are a general category candidate, you will get 5.5 marks. 5.5 out of 15 is less than 40%. 4 marks out of 15 is less than 30%. In other words, they don't want to see you in the BEL campus at any of the places. So they don't want to give you marks which are even qualifying in nature. गलती मत कर देना. गलती मत कर देना. आंसर आता है तो आंसर दीजिए. आंसर नहीं आता है तो ब्रीफ 2 सेकंड का पॉज लेने के बाद बोल दीजिए, सॉरी सर मुझे नहीं आता है, या मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा. आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकॉल. सर आई हैव स्टडीड इट बट आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकॉल. नो लॉस, नो डैमेज. गलती मत करिएगा. गलती मत करिएगा. बिकॉज मेकिंग अ guesswork which is going wild is the biggest blunder that candidates commit during the interview process. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. All right. Let's move on. Just a quick summary. Computer-based test was the first stage of selection process. Obviously, the first stage was you must get X percentage of marks in your BTech exam. The interview shortlist is 5 times the number of vacancies with whatever rounding off. The final selection weightage is 85% for the CBT and 15% for the interview. In fact, Bharat Electronics Limited is known to have conducted its own exam ever since I can remember. I mean, I appeared for the exam in 1976, and even before that, they were conducting exam only for shortlisting for the interview. But that's it. Qualifying marks I've already spoken, 40% for general OBC and EWS and 30% for all other categories. All right. Subject knowledge is important. Now here I find that a number of students who have been shortlisted, for interview are freshers. It's obvious. For freshers, project and training are very important. They can get into details of your project work and they can ask you about what you learned during your 6 weeks of internship. I'm using the term 6 weeks of internship because that is a norm at majority of the engineering colleges. But there are exceptions to this. For example, JC Bose University, which was earlier YMCA Institute in Faridabad. In YMCA or JC Bose University, the final semester is spent at an industry, which means it is an industrial internship. They don't have a BTech project, but they have one full semester long industrial internship, and they are supposed to work on a project during that industrial internship. That's different. They can get into details of that. Right? BTech project is important. Now, at this point, I have number of questions. Sir, my project is on communications, but I'm not very good in communication. Communication theory as subject in electronics. My suggestion will be thorough with the content of your project. If you're not very thorough with some of the theoretical components, theoretical parts of the communications engineering as a subject, it is pardonable. It will be pardonable. You can always say, sir, I have prepared this subject more thoroughly in comparison to communication. You can always say that. And they'll probably go into the details of the subject which you have said. But that subject which you are saying must be relevant for BEL interview. Again, I'll give an example. Mechanical engineering candidates. For example, sir, power plant engineering is my favorite subject. Believe me, power plant engineering will be of least importance for BEL interview. They will not be interested in power plant as a subject. If you say industrial engineering, if you say optimization techniques, if you say quality principles, definitely they'll be very happy. But if you say idle machinery, may not be very keen. Pumps and compressors are very important in any organization. Even BEL is not an exception. But idle machinery, that means if you're talking about idle turbines, definitely it will not be of great interest for Bharat Electronics Limited. BEL does have presence in wind power, wind energy, because they are getting into that mold also. But that is more with the objective of meeting the guidelines. That is not any of their business ventures, so to say, right? Hobbies, they may ask questions. And in fact, in this session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a clipping of 15-20 minutes, which will give you an insight into hobbies. I'll also give the link of the interview session, which I had conducted for HPCL, where this can be watched. I will not play the entire 20 minutes. I'll maybe play for just about 5 minutes, just to give you familiarization, right? And I have repeated the line, do not bluff while answering. A word for candidates who are facing difficulty in conveying their point across. My suggestion is pick up a book, start reading aloud. Your interviews are starting from the last week of July, right? I think 25th, 26th July. And you must practice reading out aloud. Pick up your subject books, pick up your textbooks, and open any chapter, but speak aloud. Read it aloud for about half an hour every day. Why am I asking you to read it aloud for half an hour every day is ताकि आप जो वर्ड्स बोलना चाह रहे हैं आप वर्ड्स क्लियरली बोल पाएं, टेक्निकल टर्म्स क्लियरली बोल पाएं. See, they have very clearly written, you can answer in Hindi or in English. You can answer the questions in the interview in Hindi or English. Very nice. And that should really be giving you a lot of relief. But the technical words have to be spoken, have to be pronounced correctly. You can't be giving a faulty pronunciation of the word that you're trying to convey. वो कैसे होगा? How will you improve? How will you, get confidence in speaking that? Only when you practice to speak. Just practice reading aloud for about half an hour every day. till the date of your interview, believe me, you will not feel less confidence in terms of answering the questions. More often than not, what happens is you know the answer, but you are unable to speak. आपको लगता है मैं बोलूंगा तो गलत बोलूंगा. You're shy, you're very shy of speaking, and you feel that if I speak, I may use wrong pronunciation and maybe I'll be laughed at. Don't worry about that. Don't care about anybody laughing at your pronunciation. Just don't bother. बट उस प्रोनाउंसिएशन को इंप्रूव करने के लिए एक बहुत आसान तरीका है, विच इज व्हाट आई हैव जस्ट टोल्ड यू. Practice reading out aloud from a newspaper, book, magazine, technical subject book, your notes for about half an hour every day. Believe me, you will gain tremendous amount of confidence when you are answering questions in the interview. All right. So what we are going to be covering today: dress, preferred dress, I'll use the word, entry, exit, and greeting, flow of questions, what to prepare in terms of subjects, and how to handle difficult questions, right? I'll very quickly run through the first two parts. The reason why I'm saying this is because I want to devote more time on answering your doubts rather than going through something which is already available in the video of OMGC, right? So dress, the word that we use, dress, there is no dress code per se, but we say preferred dress, right? The best possible dress, starting with boys, I would say, is use a plain shirt and a dark colored trouser, right? I'm using a striped shirt. It's acceptable, but when you're going for a formal interview, prefer to go in a plain shirt, which means it can be either white, it can be cream, it can be very light gray, or it can be very light blue. Please do not use the yellows and the greens and the purples and the mustards and the dark browns and the black colored shirts. They are not formal wears, they are party wears, right? Prefer to go in plain shirts. Very thin, very light stripes or checks can be there, but ideal would be go in a plain shirt, right? Dark colored trouser. The dark colored trouser can be black, can be dark gray, can be dark brown, can be dark blue, any of these. But one combination of shirt and trouser which should be avoided is a white shirt and a black trouser. वो अवॉइड करना. प्लेन ब्लैक ट्राउजर मत पहनना. ब्लैक ट्राउजर जो आप यूज कर रहे हो उसमें अगर हल्की सी स्ट्राइप्स है विद वाइट शर्ट, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. बट प्लेन ब्लैक ट्राउजर एंड वाइट शर्ट वुड बी लेस प्रेफर्ड. ऑल राइट. Use a formal belt, right? Don't use a funky, belt buckle. Plain formal buckle of the belt that you have to use. Prefer to use a black colored leather belt, right? Shoes, again, prefer to use black leather shoes. Don't go in sport shoes. And those black leather shoes which you are supposed to be using should not be, with a very narrow front. Formal black shoes, the variety that you used to use in school. Oxford is the design which Bata had. Not very narrow toe, but medium toe, right? You can use shoes without laces. Of course, first preference is shoes with laces, but if you already have black shoes without laces, please go ahead, no problems. Word about socks I'm specifically mentioning is I have seen a number of candidates come for the mock interviews in multicolored socks. Avoid that. Avoid that. Use dark colored plain socks. Can be dark gray, can be dark blue, can be black. Any of these colors would be acceptable, but not multicolored or printed. And use full length socks, not the socks which are only ankle high, right? Small guidelines, but I think they do matter. And don't forget to polish your shoes on the day of the interview. Go neatly trimmed. Don't go with long hair or with unkempt beard. Ideal would be to go clean shave, right? Bangalore weather is not cold at all at this point, but do carry an extra pair of clothes because Bangalore weather is very unpredictable and can rain at any time. So do carry an extra pair of clothes with you so that you don't get caught on the wrong foot. The dress For girls, again, would be formal, but formal does not mean that you should go in Western formals. Avoid going in shirt and trouser. The preferred dress for girls for this PSU interview would be you can go in a salwar suit, or you can go in kurti churidars, or in top with whatever dress that suits you. But avoid going in shirt and trouser. That is a suggestion. Entirely up to you. Don't go in a dress which is having multiple large flowery prints. Pastel shades are most welcome for this thing. Avoid going in high-heeled footwear. Very light makeup, very, very light makeup. In terms of jewelry, maybe you can use a thin chain, not more than one ring. Small earrings, acceptable. As far as boys are concerned, I do not recommend having even a single ring in the hand. And definitely no ear studs for boys. Avoid. Unless it's a matter of religious requirement, then in that case, I won't say anything. But otherwise, don't use ear studs to make a fashion statement. These are things which can be helpful, in making a very positive, sober impression on the interview panel. All right. The list of documents is given by them in the call letter. Let me just share that call letter in front of you. Just give me a moment. I'll disable this share and instead I'll share the call letter. I have multiple documents which I have shared. One by one, we'll refer to them. I think right now there is a different document which is coming, but right. So the document which I'm presently sharing with you is the call letter that you have got. Okay. You already have it with you. You must report at the center at the reporting time mentioned. 8 o'clock is early for BEL Bangalore. For Ghaziabad also, but then being the weather in which we are, 8 o'clock is not too early, right? 8 o'clock in Bangalore will be less traffic, so you can easily reach without any difficulty. You have to bring this admit card with your signature. That means you have to take a hard copy of this interview card, right? The candidate should ensure that he fulfills all the eligibility conditions for admission to the interview. The admission at all stages is admitted and will be purely subject to his satisfying the eligibility criteria, right? 1:5, they have already mentioned. Yes, point number 6 is important. The candidate can choose to answer the interview questions in Hindi or English. I will also add Hindi plus English. Mix of Hindi and English is also acceptable. There is no issue on that, right? On selection, the place of unit of posting will be intimated in the provisional offer of appointment. Also, candidates may be posted anywhere in India at any point of time, right? Again, I want to add something at this point in time. I was posted to Bangalore because of my asking. Otherwise, all my other batchmates, they were posted to the Ghaziabad unit only. And in fact, that year, I think there were 10 of us who joined BL after this selection process. In terms of transfers, it is not very difficult. At the same time, it is not very easy. Normally, you stay put in one particular place for long enough time, unless you ask for a transfer, right? Transfers at senior levels can be there. When you reach the level of deputy general manager or higher, yes, you can be transferred anywhere. Same thing happens when you are reaching the position of general manager or executive director. So anybody above deputy general manager can be expected to be transferred, though not very frequently. But if you want to transfer on request, the easiest way of getting a transfer on request to the center of your choice is to find out somebody who is in that center and he wants to come to the center where you are posted. That is the easiest way of getting a transfer, mutual transfer as it is referred to. And in fact, I had sought a mutual transfer to Ghaziabad unit, but then I resigned before even joining Ghaziabad unit. I wanted to go to the private sector, and that's why I left PSU. All right. So this is something which is easy for you. The qualification should be first class for general OBC EWS and pass class for SC ST. That means 60% for general OBC EWS category candidates and passing marks for other categories, right? The documents which you have to bring with you in original as well as a copy. Your 10th class passing certificate, which is which is a proof for date of birth, or any other document which can be a valid proof of birth. Maybe your passport can be a valid proof of date of birth, right? The final degree or the provisional degree certificate of relevant qualification with the qualifying class. Qualifying class means first class or something, right? Just one moment. I'll just pause for a moment. Just give me a minute. Okay. The category certificate is important. That has to be taken in original as well as with a photocopy, right? Any attestation that is required to be done wherever, if it is mentioned at all, will be self-attestation only. Claiming reservation are required to submit the certificate in the prescribed format. Now, here there is a clear-cut mention about the date. And this was a question which has been raised by a number of candidates. Candidates belonging to OBC category should produce a certificate which is issued on or after 1st of July 2024. And for EWS category certificate, it should be issued on or after 1st of April 2025. There has been some ambiguity for OBC category certificate. Apparently, in the notification in the advertisement, they had given a different cutoff date. I think it was given as June, and now they have revised it to July. I expect that they will honor even if the OBC certificate is issued in month of June, right? But it's better to clarify, make a call and confirm, right? Even if it is issued in the current financial year, it will be more than acceptable to them, right? If you're filling up experience details, then you have to get the relevant experience certificates from the previous employer or the current employer. Current employer will not give you the experience certificate, but you will have to prove that you are presently working there, which means possibly the latest payslip of the current employer is something which will work as your proof of continuing with your employment, right? People who are working in government organizations or quasi-government or public sector undertakings should compulsorily submit no objection certificate along with the offer of appointment and latest pay slips when you are going for the interview. Again, we don't know whether they will accept some kind of an undertaking from you or they will not. Any photo identity proof which is issued by the government of India, and the possible photo identity proofs which are acceptable are A, your Aadhaar card, B, your voter ID, PAN card, passport, or even college identity card if you are in the final year, right? And you are not yet surrendered your college ID card, right? Two latest passport size photographs. You are also advised to bring downloaded copy of the online application form and admit card for computer-based test and admit card for the interview. These are three separate documents. One is the application form which you filled up at the time of applying. Second is the admit card for the CPT, and third is the admit card for interview. Which three documents you must take a hard copy, print out, and carry it with you. Interview will not be conducted if the documents are not produced and not in order. Now here, if you look at one more thing, the documents which you have been asked to bring, all these 8 or 9 or 10 documents which are asked to carry with you, you must arrange them in the same sequence in the document folder which you carry with you. The originals, put it in the folder in one pocket at a time. The photocopies of all these documents in the same sequence, you can staple them together and keep in one pocket of the folder, right? Folder is nothing fancy. You must be already having it. This is something, like a black colored folder or a dark blue colored folder with about 20 transparent pockets. All of you must be already having it, keeps the document safe. If any of the particulars furnished by you in the application is found wrong or is incomplete, and you do not fulfill any of the laid down criteria by the crucial date that has been stated in the advertisement, then your candidature will be rejected. In view of this, you must ensure that you are possessing sufficient, the required qualification and meet all other criteria. All right. No request for change in date, time, or place will be entertained under any circumstances. Who do not attend the interview on the scheduled date due to unavoidable circumstances will be marked absent and the candidature will be cancelled. They do not conduct an interview a second time. This is a norm. Traveling from the outstation for the interview will be eligible for reimbursement of AC chair car or AC 3-tier to and fro fare by the shortest route from your correspondence address to the place of interview. Again, I'll give an example. When you filled up the application form, you had not started your MTech. Therefore, you are based in, let's say, Nagpur, and your venue of the interview is Bangalore. You will be reimbursed AC 3-tier fare from Nagpur to Bangalore by AC 3-tier. But you joined MTech in IIT Bombay, right? And by the time your interview date comes, you would have joined IIT. You would be in Bombay. So obviously you are traveling from Bombay to Bangalore. You will be reimbursed. If you submit the ticket which is from Bombay to Bangalore, the reimbursement will be limited to the fare which is applicable from Nagpur to Bangalore. That is something which you have to understand. It's again a standard condition, nothing else. You have to submit the claim form with the copy of the tickets at the time of interview to receive the reimbursement, right? That's about all as far as the interview letter is concerned. I think I'm bringing the notification, the advertisement. There are 200 posts for probationary engineer electronics and 150 probationary engineer posts in mechanical engineering stream. The grade is 40,000. Obviously, this 40,000 grade is less than the grade which is offered to you in NPCIL or BARC or let's say organizations like Indian Oil, Power Grid, EIL, etc. This is a lower scale in comparison. The CTC is 13 lakhs, whereas CTC in case of IOCL and other such companies is more than 18 lakhs. This is one fact which you must understand. This is one fact which you must understand, right? Allowances are standard. I'm not getting into those details. The notification contains the qualification criteria. Obviously, you have gone through it. In terms of reservation, out of 350 seats, 143 are unreserved, 35 for EWS, 94 for OBC non-creamy layer, 52 SC, and 26 ST. Within that, of course, there will be reservations for persons with benchmark disabilities, right? Any other No, I don't think there is anything major that needs to be seen at this point as far as the uh, advertisement is concerned. So I'll close this document also. All right. Okay. Going back now, I'll stop the share and go back to the PPT. Once again, I'll share that so that we can continue with our discussion. All right. We'll obviously be looking at the subjects which we have to be preparing. Preferred subjects I'll use. See, typically speaking, the first question that is normally asked is tell us something about yourself. I'll display a slide which will give you the list of contents of this. And I'll just take a little more discussion on some of the important ones out of this. A full detailed discussion is there in the ONGC video. You can go through that. Now here, I want to highlight the summer training and the BTech project. If you notice, I put summer training in red color. Why have I put summer training in red color? You can remain silent about talking about summer training. If you're not very happy with the content of your summer training, or if you only have a certificate that you underwent 6 weeks summer internship at such and such place, you managed to get that certificate in your introduction, skip the mention about summer training. But if you are a fresher, you cannot skip mention of BTech project. Ideally speaking, for freshers, summer training is as important as BTech project. But giving you a little leeway, you can talk about your BTech project with lot of enthusiasm, with full commitment per se. But BTech project के बारे में एक चीज और, विक्रम तिवारी, प्लीज hold your questions. Stop posting in the YouTube. I'll not be looking at them for a while. I'll only look at them after I have covered, right? I have seen questions on provisional certificate, everything, all those one by one I'll be talking about, right? Now, BTech project, when you mention, you must mention the title of the project. Sir, my final year BTech project was design, fabrication, and testing of digital tachometer. This is the precise title of my BTech project, right? Which was successfully completed as a member of 4-member project team. In other words, first sentence is the title of the project. Second part is conveying to them that we successfully demonstrated this particular project, which means we fabricated, we designed, then we fabricated. That means PCB was made, any other interface which was required, which was made, and then it was properly demonstrated during the project viva. And it was not done by me alone. We were 5 of us working together, which means that I am a person who is a team player. 5 लोगों ने मिलके खिचड़ी बनाई थी. कोई नमक, किसी ने नमक डाला, किसी ने घी डाला, किसी ने चावल साफ किए, कोई पानी लेके आया. End of the day, it was a collaborative effort and we worked cohesively as a team. Who is sharing this document? Okay, so project you must be ready with. Supposing you have done copy paste of the project, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right? If you're not ready with your project, you're not carrying your project report with you. In other words, project can be anything. But don't say, sir, my major project was this. And the next question in the interview can be, what was your minor project? No, no, sir, we didn't have a minor project. Then why use the word major project? This is, again, a very common blunder which is done by a number of candidates. Avoid doing that. Avoid doing it. Okay? If you have work experience, if you have done MTech, mention about MTech, highlight the MTech project thesis. It's very likely that the thesis title is of great interest for the interview panel and your entire interview might go on that. If you have work experience, please do give details mentioning the organization, but more specifically the work that you have done. Once again, if the work that you have done as a part of your work experience, definitely it will be giving you a lot of advantage. It will give you a lot of advantage. All right. Talking about extracurricular activities and co-curricular activities is not so critical in a BEL interview. Same way, highlighting your participation in sports, NCC, games, and other achievements may not be so very critical. Strengths and weaknesses are to be mentioned only if you are asked. What are your strengths? Sir, I'm punctual. Sir, I'm honest. Sir, I'm dedicated. Everybody is punctual, honest, and dedicated, and hardworking also. So what is different in you? I have already given an example of your being a team player when you highlighted about your project. It's an example of your being a team player. Same way, I have problem solving skills. How do you say that you have problem solving skills? Successful completion of the project is an example of problem solving skills. See, it is not that you designed the circuit and in the first shot the circuit will work as per the required specifications. It may not happen. No? So maybe there is troubleshooting required. Maybe you have to analyze what went wrong. Maybe you have to look for an alternate component. Maybe even there is a small change in the resistor or the capacitor that is required to be used in the circuit, right? Again, an example. All that was done by you people put together. That means analysis of the problem, trying to find a solution, implementing the solution successfully is clear-cut example of your problem-solving skills. All right. When you are asked about your family, don't get into details. And family means only immediate family. That means your parents and your siblings. You don't have to talk about your uncles and aunts and distant cousins and so on and so forth. No, please don't. Right? And don't try to throw your weight around, sir. My uncle is a politician. Well, very good. Good for you, good for him. But we don't want people who are politicians' proteins. Simple enough. They won't say anything, but then you're getting 4 marks or you're getting 5.5 marks. Possible, very much possible. All right. More detailed discussion about this is there in the ONGC session which I have conducted. I'll give you the precise timing of the portion which you are supposed to be watching. I think it's from 11th minute till the 80th minute. Let me just yeah, right. I'll put it in the chat box also. Maybe I'll put it in the chat box from 11 minute 20 second till 1 hour 33 minutes. Right? I hope you are able to see this. I'll write in the chat for YouTube also, not immediately, after a while. All right. So this is something which can be very helpful for you and you can look at it. It will give answers to a whole lot of questions which you might be already having. Next. The possible set of questions which may be asked. I'm using the term which may be asked. Showing you the list of questions. The detailed discussion is there in the ONGC session, but here I'll answer a few typical questions. For example, the very first question. Let me put a tick mark on the questions which I'm going to be answering at this point. One is this. Why should we select you as a generic answer? You can refer to it from the ONGC session. What do you expect will be your profile is going to answer? I'll go answer this. How do you contribute to our organization? Again, is a standard answer. You can look at that. What if BEL gets privatized? Again, is a question which I'll try to answer, right? But for the rest of the questions, you can go through the detailed discussion which is there in the ONGC session which I have conducted. The reason why I'm saying that watch that video is to save time for you. I'll prefer to spend more time in answering the questions or addressing the doubts that have been posted. Like there are a whole lot of questions that have been flooded in the YouTube message box. I'll go through that and then answer that also. Plus, of course, very few questions in the chat box for Zoom. You people have been very kind to me. You know that when to start sending the questions. Obviously, those who have joined using the Zoom, I'll be able to unmute also, which can be, they can ask the question, which can be answered for the benefit of everybody. All right. First question, why do you want to join BEL? See, as you know that the BEL openings are for two streams of engineering. One is mechanical engineering, one is electronics engineering. The question is there sufficient work for these two branches of engineering in Bharat Electronics Limited? The answer is yes. Bharat Electronics Limited has a whole lot of relevant work for electronics engineers as well as for mechanical engineers. As a matter of fact, once upon a time, the director in charge of Bangalore unit was a mechanical engineer. An organization which is a hardcore electronic equipment manufacturing organization, professional electronics equipment manufacturing organization, having the head of Bangalore unit as a mechanical engineer is something which was unthinkable. But yes, Mr. Handa was once upon a time the director of Bangalore unit. As a matter of fact, there are four members of the team, four people who joined Bharat Electronics Limited in the 1977 batch of probationary engineers. These four people were the directors in BEL at that time. And after working for about 35 years, the chairman at that time was Mr. S.K. Sharma. S.K. Sharma, yes, he's a pass out of BMS College of Engineering, Bangalore. The other gentleman is one is Amol Nevaskar. He's a pass out of Sati Vidisha. Handa, Virendra Handa is a pass out of NIT Kurukshetra. And PC Jain, who was the director marketing, was a pass out of IIT Delhi. Amol Nevaskar was director other units. Virendra Handa was director Bangalore unit. SK Sharma, I mentioned, was the CMD of BEL, and PC Jain was the director marketing for BEL. Right? All these four people had joined Bharat Electronics Limited in the 1977 batch of probationary engineers. And I happen to know three of them personally. Handa was obviously very closely known to me. Amol Nevaskar was in Bangalore for a number of years before he got shifted to other units. And then PC Jain spent a lot of his time in Ghaziabad unit, and likewise. SK Sharma had been in Bangalore throughout. He was in the semiconductor division in Bangalore when he joined. All right. So BEL provides a very stimulating work environment both for electronics engineers as well as for mechanical engineers. The next question which I have tick marked, what do you expect will be a work profile? The work profile for both these branches, for electronics as well as for mechanical, can be design and engineering. That means you can be posted to one of the R&D departments, right? And believe me, there is very precise mechanical design requirement for the equipment that is being made, designed and engineered by BEL. So it is not that anybody and everybody can be doing the design of that. There is an important requirement of knowledge of materials. There is an important requirement for what kind of finishes that are required to be done on those materials, what micron coating of which protective material is required to be done. Because remember, the professional equipment which is being made by BEL is expected to work from minus 20 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius. And any professional equipment, like if it is for military use, obviously, even the components that are used for the defense electronics equipments is not of civilian specifications, but having JSS specifications, joint services specifications. There are separate, norms for the components which are used for defense equipment. For the civilian use equipment, we use the standard specifications. But every equipment which goes out of BEL is tested. Defense equipment is tested from minus 20 to plus 75, and the civilian equipment is tested from 0 till 55 degrees Celsius, right? Like, for example, the project with which I was associated was a microwave radio relay system for DOT as well as for Indian Railways. I had designed the telemetry and telecommand system, and then also the DC to DC converter with multiple output voltages. Before sending it for production, to get the design verified and vetted, we had to subject the prototype models to temperature chamber testing, and only after that we were able to push it for production, right? And that happens with every equipment which is there, right? Work profile we were talking about can be design and engineering as something which is obviously there. You can be posted to production, you can be in testing, you can be in quality, you can even be in marketing and sales, you can be in customer support, you can be in the implementation. Like, for example, you are in the radar division. That means in the production, you are going to the customer sites for the installation. If there is any problem, it can either be rectified on the field, or the faulty equipments are brought back to the headquarters, the respective headquarters, and there the troubleshooting and the rectification work is done. Plenty of variations available in terms of work profile. For mechanical engineers, a very important section in BEL, even at that time, used to be the industrial engineering department, where the production planning and control used to form a very critical part of the activities for mechanical engineers, right? Production scheduling, again becomes very important. And then, if you go to the slightly lesser important portfolios, it could even be even in the material handling. Material handling could be the incoming material handling. Material handling also could be the finished goods material handling. So much so that even the packaging of the critical electronics equipment which is done has to be very, very professionally carried out. It is not something, that you bring a roadside person to put the equipment in the boxes and then send it off for dispatch. No, that's not something which is possible to be done. Even the containers, the cartons which are in which the equipment is packed, they are designed, and they are designed in such a way that they can sustain the shocks and vibrations up to a particular level, so that it should not happen that the equipment on reaching the customer side starts malfunctioning. No, all these things are possible to be there as a part of your work profile. And then for mechanical engineers, there can be one more work profile that could be even in getting posted to the services, in the services requirement in the BEL. Like very high quality water is required for some of the sections of BEL. That means water treatment plant, managing the water treatment plant is again there. Centrally air conditioned plant, again, that means the installation and maintenance of the refrigeration and air conditioning equipment could be entrusted to the maintenance team, some of whom could be mechanical engineers. Standby power generation is necessary for sections where uninterrupted power supply is required. They will have UPS, they'll have online UPS, but then the online UPS will not be able to sustain for a long time. We have to immediately move into the standby power generation. That means, again, the role of mechanical engineers would come into picture to make sure that the equipment is always functional on the call, right? Questions like contribution to your organization, career objective. Like career objective, I'll just say one word: I want to excel. I see there are two parts to career objective. Part one is growth within the organization, and part two is work in my chosen domain. You're an electronics engineer, and BEL provides you the opportunity to continue working in the electronics engineering domain, and you can even reach the top of the ladder. My career objective is ultimately to reach the top of the ladder. And what do I mean by saying the word top of the ladder? Means I want to be a member on the board of directors. It is not something which is unreachable. It is reachable. I've already given you the example of the three people who were my 2 years, 1.5 years my juniors. In fact, our training started on the 17th of November 1976, and their batch started. They started joining in February 78, even though they are still referred to as the probationary engineers batch of 1977. Right? The point is, it's possible. It's possible. Right? See, probationary engineers, when you join immediately after 6 months, the probation is over and you are regularized, you are given the regular grade. Now, of course, there is a change. When we joined, we were worked as a probationary engineer for 6 months, and then we were put in the regular grade as was applicable at that time, right? Okay. The third question which I have tick marked is, what if BEL or the PSU which you are going for gets privatized? See, even if BEL gets privatized, the kind of learning that you would have got by way of working in BEL for a number of years is something which will go with you always. And even if it gets privatized, the product range will not undergo a change. And when the product range is not undergoing a change, the people who are working on that particular product range will continue to be useful for the private entity which takes over. BEL is not a private entity. There is a percentage of its equity. More than 50% of the equity is obviously held by the government of India. The worst that can happen is that government of India decides to dilute its equity holding to below 50%. Even that may not happen because BEL is a profit making organization, and it is giving a lot of dividend year after year to the government of India, right? All right. So even if it gets privatized, you as a professional engineer having the experience of working in the organization, you will continue to be of great requirement for whosoever is the private entity which takes over. And that is what happens for people who are doers. Obviously, it will not happen for people who are, not really putting in their best foot. They will obviously feel difficulty, but people who are doers will definitely be rewarded even if the organization gets privatized. All right. Let me just remove this. Okay, anyway, so even if they are there, it doesn't matter to us. Subjects to be preferred. Subjects preferred for BEL. For electronics, you have plenty of choices. Just one moment. Just one moment, please. I'll bring back the slides for you. Yes. Okay. I'm back. I'll share the screen once again. Okay. So you can pick and choose any of the subjects, really. For electronics engineers, it's a wide canvas. Analog electronics, digital electronics, communication, signal processing, digital signal processing, control systems, EMT, antennas. See, BL is vast. I'm saying EDC not so important because I don't think BL is continuing to be in the semiconductor making. Had it been there, then obviously EDC also would have been as important. But then application of the devices is something which will come as a part of the analog electronics design, digital electronics, and so on and so forth. Pick and choose any of the four subjects out of this, and that is what you can focus on. And it will be touching on the nerves of practically the entire range of equipment which BL is making. All right. For mechanical engineers, SOM obviously is very important. Fluid mechanics and machinery, particularly pumps and compressors, would be very important. Thermodynamics, heat transfer, power plant engineering. Power plant engineering, I will not put it at so high. Let me just put a tick mark against that. Or maybe I can, yes, let me, right here. I'll put a cross mark. Power plant engineering is not so critical. Material engineering, material science is important. Theory of machines can be important. Theory of machines can definitely be important, right? So accordingly, you can prepare. You can prepare. Okay. Engineering mechanics, theory of machines, industrial engineering, quality, ISO, ERP, MRP, very useful for BEL. Very, very useful for BEL. And as I've already explained, what can be the profile in line with that, in tune with that, you can make a choice of your subjects. All right. So this is like part one of my coverage. I'll very quickly go through the product range of BEL, and then Mr. Manoj Jain, he's the chairman and managing director of Bharat Electronics Limited. And of course, there are other people. Rajneesh Sharma is the director, Bangalore unit. Vikraman is director HR. Hari Kumar is director R&D. Kamesh Kasna is director other units. Then Damodar Bhattad is director finance, and Suresh Kumar is director marketing, right? You need to remember the name of the CMD. You need to remember the name of the CMD, right? When I joined Bharat Electronics, the director in charge of the Bangalore unit was Colonel GK Rao, and the director in charge of Bangalore in Ghaziabad unit was Mr. N. Krishnan, who later became the CMD of BEL. The chairman and managing director of BEL was Mr. C. Subramaniam in the year when I joined, right? We look at the key business areas. BEL was established in the year 1954. The key business areas are, let me just remove this. Yeah, this is irritant. So that's it. Good. Right. They are into defense equipment, non-defense equipment, software products, software services, electronic design manufacturing services, and they have an export unit, right? They are in a regular mode of export, and that is what we need to be looking at. Again, taking a look at what are the other detailed product lines. Defense products, a whole lot of equipment they are making. I'll not go into reading every bit of it. This is a range of defense communication equipments. They are making radars of all kinds. They are making radars of all kind, land-based, navals. Then they are into non-defense products. They have equipment which they are making for rail and metro application, for civil aviation, homeland security, smart city solutions, communication, e-governance, telecom. Antennas, they are making a wide range. Antennas, they are making a wide range of equipment. Solar and renewables, components and devices for non-defense. Right? Uh, once After this, what I'll do is I'll just share a document, which is again downloaded from the website of BEL only. All this information is picked up from the website of BEL. It is not something which is my creation, not my invention, not my design. It is all picked up from BEL website only, right? So that it can be shared with you people. But one document which I need to share with you is three more documents which I'm going to be sharing with you. One of the important documents is one of the important documents which is to be shared with you is the corporate brochure. Again, downloaded from BEL website. I want you to go through this corporate brochure and try to remember some of the important things. I really wish that you try to remember some of the contents of this brochure, right? It's not even 20 pages that you have to go. It's saying 20 pages, but first two pages are already over. So you can imagine. Page number 2 is something which you must try to read and absorb. This is something which you must try to absorb because this gives you the list of equipment which is made by BEL, right? Again, publicity, the turnover. This figure is important. For the financial year which ended in on March 31st, 2024, the turnover of the organization was 19,820 crores. 19,820 crores was the turnover of BEL for the last financial year. That means the year which ended on 31st March 2024, right? Okay. So that's one number which you can remember. 77% was from indigenous technology and 23% was from foreign technology. That shows the extent to which the indigenous technology has been absorbed in this. The regional offices, locations, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and Vizag. Vizag is very important for the naval, being a very important naval base, and BEL does supply a lot of equipment for use by the Indian Navy. The marketing offices are in Delhi and Bangalore only. The overseas offices, they have a presence in Oman, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Vietnam, Singapore, and New York. A subsidiary, Optronic Devices Limited, makes night vision equipment. The GEB Private Limited makes the CT Max for the X-ray tubes and the detectors. Then there is another joint venture, BEL Thales Systems Limited, design, development, and supply of civilian and select defense radars for Indian and global markets, right? This is giving you a bird's eye view of what the activities of BEL are. So read this document carefully and try to remember some of the names which can be there. Akash missile, which was in news during the Operation Sindoor, is made by BEL. Obviously, BDL and BEL, they are the two organizations where the missiles are being produced. Range of radars, equipment for defense communications, integrated border management systems, jammer, playing a very important role, right? Go through this document. I'll be sharing it, as I said, with the in the by mail to all those candidates who have submitted their call letters and uploaded their details in the Google Sheet, Google Forms. They'll receive the mail with the links by tomorrow. I'll try if I can do it today itself, but definitely by tomorrow, right? Okay. I think that's about all. Then there was one more document which was flashing around, which is like the checklist. Again, quickly refer to the checklist. I'm sure all of you are clearly aware of what is needed to be seen there, but still, just for reference, the pre-interview checklist is only to make sure that you are carrying the documents which are required for the interview process, interview call letter, the biodata form which you submitted. They have sent you the biodata form also. They have sent you the biodata form. I'll see if I can even share that and see if there is any problem in that. The date of birth proof, as mentioned in the mark sheets, original as well as copy, 12th pass 12th class passing certificate and mark sheet, again original with copy, provisional degree and mark sheet semester wise of the graduation, again original and copies, provisional degree and mark sheets of post graduation if applicable, CGPA conversion formula by the competent authority for graduation as well as post graduation, again as applicable, caste certificate original and copy for now, for EWS and OBC, it should not be older than 1 year. That's the reason why the requirement of OBC NCL certificate to be issued after 1st of July. That's the reason for the change, right? Persons with benchmark disability, again, original with copy, no objection certificate. If you are working in a government organization or a PSU or a quasi-government organization, necessary relieving letter from the previous employer if you have work experience, any government identity, and the latest passport size photograph, right? This is just a quick checklist for the purpose of your confirmation, and that's it. I'm also going to be enclosing the edited part or edited version of the annual report for the financial year 23-24 so that you just have to read the chairman's speech. Again, the content are already there in the corporate BL brochure. So even if you skip it, it will not matter. It will not really matter. I think these are the documents which I wanted to show. Time for some questions to be answered. But before that, maybe just 5 minutes of video regarding the hobbies and interests that can be useful for you. I'll just play 5 minutes. It's a 20-minute long video, but I'll just skip the thing. Again, it is from the HPCL session which I had conducted. I'll give you the timing of this portion also. I'll mention it in the mail. I'll mention it in the mail so that you can easily refer to it. For your quick reference, I'll just play the 15-minute clipping. Only the first 5 minutes of the clipping is what I'm going to be playing, not the entire thing. There is no point. We'll spend more time on answering your queries rather than on running through these videos, which are already possible, which can definitely be seen by you on your own. Yes, here it is. I'll just play 5 minutes. I'll not play the entire thing. Here we go. Related to your hobbies. And that is what we want to talk about now. Right? In fact, in most of the forms, there is a column which you are asked to fill up. What are your hobbies or interests? Now, if it is written as hobbies, understand that hobby is something which is not related to the field of study that you are having. Hobby is something which you indulge in your free time, right? It is basically to give way to your, just to get into some kind of recreation, freshen up your mind, right? That is what you indulge in. Why is it your hobby? And hobby can be anything, by the way. Benefits of hobby, the most important benefit of hobby is it helps you to recharge yourself. It gives, a diversion to your mind away from studies, something which is not connected with your study. Maybe playing a game is a hobby. Watching TV can be a hobby. Anything can be a hobby. Anything which is diversion from your, hardcore study is your hobby, right? What are the resources required for pursuing the particular hobby? You need to be aware of. How do you manage time and money for pursuing the hobby? Again, a logical answer is expected. Difference between hobby and profession. Hobby is something which is not connected with your field of study, may not be connected with your field of study. But profession is something which you are pursuing for earning a livelihood, for earning money, and for generating resources, right? It should not be unrealistic. An example of an unrealistic hobby is, sir, car driving is my hobby. But when it comes to your family income, the family income is 1,20,000 rupees per year. How can you afford a car? That means, indirectly speaking, you are in the habit of unauthorized use of others' cars. I'm not using any other word for it, right? So have a realistic hobby, okay? Something which complements your personality. For example, you're a person who weighs 120 kg and you say that my hobby is gymnastics. Not possible. Not possible. Your height is 5 feet 4 inches and you say that my hobby is playing basketball. It can be. I'm not saying it cannot be. It can be. But generally, basketball is something which is always associated with people who are tall. It can be played, a shorter person can also be playing basketball. I'm not saying that it is not possible, but then he has to be exceptionally talented, right? Just an example. What are the possible hobbies? We'll take a look at the possible hobbies and then we'll also take a look at the possible questions related to hobbies. This is just the first sheet. There are 2 sheets which I have made.
Okay, I think this was just
Singing,
to give you an idea.
dancing, painting,
and
teaching,
you can
cooking,
go through
swimming.
it in the HPCL's sessions clipping. It's a 20-minute portion. You can just go through it. It will be helpful for you. It will be useful. And that is what is the objective of just showing you in this part. All right. Let me just take up the questions which have got posted so far. In the Zoom chat, Ananya has posted a couple of questions. BEL versus NPCL, what is pros and cons? And the biggest pro in favor of NPCL is the salary is almost 40% higher than BEL salary. 13 lakhs versus 18 lakhs minimum. That is the first and foremost. But the part which goes in BEL favor is work-life balance. In case of NPCL, you are in shift duties. Yes, I won't say that you are not in shift duties in case of BEL. If you are in production, if you are in testing, if you are in quality, if you are in dispatch, yes, you can be in the shift duty also. But in case of NPCL, you are definite to be in shift duties. Whereas in case of BEL, there may be a possibility of shift duty. Otherwise, you have perfect work-life balance. That's the biggest positive in case of BEL, right? In fact, this question has been asked by a number of times by Vikram Tiwari and others. BEL salary in comparison with ISRO or DRDO scientist again is less by 40%, right? It's a comparison of 14 lakhs versus 18 to 20 lakhs. ISRO, DRDO, BARC, NPCL, they all are having a CTC of the order of about 18 lakhs. Whereas in case of BEL, the CTC is of the order of 13 to 14 lakhs only. So that is something which is very clear. There is a residential complex in some of the bigger centers of BEL. I definitely know of 3 locations, 4 locations where they have a residential complex. Biggest obviously is Bangalore, followed by Ghaziabad. Then we have Panchkula and also Kotdwar. These 4 places definitely have a big enough residential complex. But in other locations also, they have residential complex for essential services, not for everybody, but for essential services staff only, right? And they're at the bigger centers, obviously, the residential complex is complete with schools, hospitals, and every other facility that is required. Okay, so that's a part which is very clear for you. Okay, subjects we have discussed. Private sector employees do not require NOC of any kind whatsoever. Don't even approach your employer for a NOC if you are working in a private organization at present when you're going. Akashgiri has a question, sir. If someone works somewhere but there is no experience letter given by the organization, Akash, if you are currently working in an organization, that organization will refuse to give you a experience letter, right? So in that case, what can happen is, what you can do is you carry your latest payslip and your offer of appointment. The offer of appointment proves that you are working in that organization, and your latest payslip conveys to the BL people that this is the last salary slip that you have got. You are continuing to work. Obviously, they will not give you the experience certificate till you leave. Aman Kumar has a message. What about the beard? Aman, if necessary to go in a beard, then let it be a very neatly trimmed beard. It should not be unkempt, It should be very well neatly trimmed beard only, right? Durga Rao says, sir, I'm doing MTech in IIT Kharagpur. If you have completed first year of MTech in IIT Kharagpur, you can seek permission from IIT Kharagpur to continue with to do your project work as an external candidate. Obviously, you will require the permission of BEL, which will normally not be withheld, right? So that is what you can do. Suryakant, is the interview finished same day or need to stay one more day? No, it is over the same day. You don't have to stay the extra day. During form filling, by mistake, I have entered my first name only instead of full name. They will allow you to give the interview. There is no problem. There is no problem. Carry an affidavit saying that I am the same person. By mistake, it has been done. So that's it. Your photograph should corroborate. You have already submitted a photograph. When you submitted the application form, that photograph should match with your present photograph, right? Those of you who have appeared for the final semester, they are required to carry the mark sheets up to 7th semester. If your 8th semester result has been declared, but you have not been given a university printed mark sheet, you are only having a soft copy. Take a printout of the soft copy and submit it to them. You will be expected to carry the originals with you in case you are selected and you have to be joining. Same thing holds good for the degree. If you're passing in 2025, obviously you may not have the final degree. You may only be having a provisional degree in some cases. In some cases, if the result is not declared, only 7 semesters mark sheet would be there, but the remaining documents you will be given time to submit. All right. One question which number of people are asking, sir, my written test marks are at the boundary line. Should I go? My answer is yes, you should go. Don't skip appearing for the interview. Let it be an experience itself, unless it's going to spoil some other activity that you are engaged in, purely on that basis, right? Nishant, I hope you have got the answer to your question how mechanical engineering is useful in BEL products. One of the most important contributions by mechanical engineers is in the design of antennas. The electronic part is done by electronics engineers, but the fabrication and the design and the material selection and the treatments which have to be given are clearly done by mechanical engineers only, and they play a very crucial role. They play a very, very crucial role. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Job experience which is not relevant to BL, it does not matter. Even if it is not relevant to BL, it is work experience. Please mention. Please do mention. Swag, you can mention your minor project as the project. That's it. Don't create a confusion between major and minor. As I've already said, don't carry your project report in the interview room. You may carry it with you for during the travel, but don't carry it inside the interview room. BL versus NTPC for mechanical engineers, definitely NTPC is more related, but for electronics, BL definitely gives you much better exposure rather than rather than in NTPC. Joining this week for a job, do I need the experience certificate? No, you don't require to carry the experience certificate. My marks 99, I have already answered. Selvan, what means Selvan, the formula which is provided on the back of the consolidated mark sheet is more than sufficient. You don't have to carry anything extraordinary. Okay, Aman, I have answered your question. Please take a look at the biodata form. Mr. Gunman, you are really threatening me. I'll take a look at the biodata form. Let me see if I have it with me. I think I have the biodata form. Let me see if I can share it and discuss. Okay, brochure. I do remember one of the students had sent me the biodata form. Let me see if I can locate it. You'll have to give me a moment, please. BEL biodata form. Yes, I have the biodata form. I'll just bring it on the screen for you. Yes, I'll just bring the biodata form on the screen so that if there is anything which requires attention, I can talk about. Yes, we have the biodata form. All right. My video is not so important for discussing the biodata form. All right. Here. Starting from the beginning, name in whenever you are asked to fill the name and email ID, my suggestion always will be to use capital letters. BEL user ID number is to be left blank. Age as on 1st of January 2025 and date of birth. First you write the age, year, month, days and follow it with date of birth, right? Male, female, father's name, nationality, category, experience, enclose the certificate as applicable. If you are a person with benchmark disability, tick mark the disability which is applicable in your case and the degree of disability. Hobbies and oblique special interests as applicable. Qualifications from 10th class onwards. SSLC is 10th class, right? So first 10th, then 12th, then BTech, then MTech, right? Experience if applicable. If you don't have any experience, just put cross mark and like maybe I can demonstrate it how. See, the idea is that you have to convey to them either you write not applicable. Either write not applicable so that you know that it is not applicable in your case. That's it. You have to convey to them that you have seen this page, but this is not applicable for you, right? Details of any relatives employed in BEL. Here we are referring to only the blood relations, only blood relatives, not any other relations. Okay. Address, complete address, permanent address, as well as correspondent address with PIN code in the address. Phone number, if applicable, mobile phone number only. Here, normally the phone number which is being referred to is the landline number, which is really not applicable. If there is any lawsuit pending against you, please mention the details. It's important not to skip that part. If it is applicable, do give the details. And then an undertaking. I don't think there is anything critical as far as the biodata form is concerned. Maybe we can just go ahead. and continue with your queries. One message on this. Sylvan, your question has already been answered. Okay. In the chat, let's see. CGPA answered. Aman, I have answered. Affidavit does not work for EWS certificate. I'm sorry, they will not consider your candidature. There can be an issue if a lawsuit is pending. Yes, there can be an issue. I'm qualified UGC net. Harshit, you can just make a passing reference that you are qualified UGC net also. It's an additional qualification that you have, nothing else. You don't have to justify why did you appear for UGC net. That's it. Subjects I've already discussed. Sachin, how to respond to gap. Sachin, please go through the video of OMGC interview guidance. In details, we have discussed that. 6 months experience in instrumentation company and another 6 months in web development. If you don't have the experience letter of either of them, don't mention it. Verbally, you can mention. Verbally, you can mention. It will not really create much trouble for you, Ankur. Don't worry. It's a civil suit, not a criminal suit. There is no problem. Ajay, you can't skip mentioning the MTech thesis title. It may not be of interest to them also. It may not be of interest to them also. Jason, you can make the correction at the time of filling the biodata form now. There is no problem. Ankur, hopefully your lawsuit gets settled. Otherwise, it could have negative repercussions, but may not. May not. See, if they ask you whether you will leave BEL for ESE, you should simply say no, sir. I'll want to continue with BEL. When you go through the ONGC session, you will know why this is coming to be pictured. Okay. Uma Mishra, if you have only 2 years mark sheet and remaining is not available in your college, then nothing can be done. They will give you time up to a particular time limit. If you are not able to submit the mark sheets in original, they will not accept your candidature. EWS, they don't, no affidavit is acceptable for EWS certificate. Please remember that. Megha HURL does not give NOC, तो मुश्किल है. अप्लाई कर दो, अप्लाई कर दो, अप्लाई कर दो, रिसीव कर लो, उनसे रिसीविंग करवा लो कि आपने अप्लाई किया है एनओसी के लिए. बस दैट्स ऑल, नथिंग एल्स. टीचिंग जॉब की है पर उसका एक्सपीरियंस सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है तो वर्बली मेंशन कर सकते हो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. मैं फॉर्म में मत भरना, वर्बली मेंशन करना. अगर वो बोलते हैं कि आपने भरा क्यों नहीं है तो बोलना सर बिकॉज इट वाज ऑन असाइनमेंट बेसिस, दे डिड नॉट गिव एनी एक्सपीरियंस लेटर. ब्लेजर इज नॉट नेसेसरी, टाई इज नॉट नेसेसरी. पिंकू, माई ब्रांच इज मैकेनिकल बट माई प्रोजेक्ट इज रिलेटेड टू मशीन लर्निंग. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बता दो जो है वही बताओ बेटा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. Uma Mishra, you have to have either a consolidated mark sheet of all semesters or all the individual semesters mark sheet. Otherwise, something will be, I mean, it will be treated as a fishy situation. No, sir, I will not leave for ESC. Simple, straight answer. In the interview, you can give this answer. There is no problem. Can I skip BTech project? I have work experience. Sheetal, if you have work experience of 2 years, 3 years, definitely you can skip mention of the project. Straight away come to work experience. If it is relevant, definitely great. Triple E branch, you did your project on transformer. Please mention that. No issues. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है because Triple E is eligible for this case. Contractual job, it will give an advantage in the interview as long as you are able to, express your experience in a logical way.
Selvan, even though the project is more related to EC, but there will be a lot of mechanical equipment also, no? The control will be control of the vending machine means movement of mechanical parts. BL versus BDL, I'll place BL to be shade better than BDL. Salary would be at par. Work culture, I know for sure BL would give you perfect work-life balance. Even in BDL, it should be something similar only. But the locations is what you have to see. I've started my MTech in 2020. Now, till December, 3 semesters have been completed. After that, I joined as a JRF in DRDO. Mention it. Harinder, you can mention it. There is no problem. Please do mention. उमा मिश्रा, सीरियल नंबर मेरे को समझ नहीं आया आपका क्वेश्चन क्या है. आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज सीरियल नंबर. अंकुर, आई जस्ट टेक अ लुक. Why do you want to mention your gate score? If your gate score is very high, they'll say that you'll go to some other PSU. You will not stick to us. So why unnecessarily invite another trouble? Ankur, if you have private companies experience and you have experience letter, please do mention it. Please do mention it. Jason, I have already answered your question. Fill up in the biodata form and make the correction. Okay. Ananya, I have already answered. Okay, let's go back to this. Provide accommodation for selected candidates. Not really. Not really. There is nothing called a bachelor hostel as such. No, they don't have the concept of bachelor hostel unless they have started it now. At least not at the time when we worked there. Mamta, definitely there is a chance for selection. Don't worry. Uma Mishra, without mark sheet, they can reject you. What is the reason why आपके पास mark sheets क्यों नहीं हैं? What is the explanation why mark sheets are not there with you? There is something that has to be explained, no? ऑनलाइन ओबीसी एप्लीकेबल रहेगा, यस. हाँ, तो वो ले जाओ ना. उस पर डिजिटल सिग्नेचर होता है. डिजिटल सिग्नेचर है तो इट्स वैलिड. Sunil Chaudhary, sir, I kept Hyderabad as first preference for posting. Can I ask for a change to Bangalore? That can happen only after joining. Himanshu Shukla, BTech project is ultrasonic radar system. Please prepare thoroughly so that you can address questions related to that. Should I mention by PhD enrollment or not? I don't think so. If you have just started your PhD, please don't mention it. Verbally mention कर दो, लिखित में कुछ मत देना. There is no safe range. If you are asking me safe range for marks, नहीं है बेटा कोई भी. I want to do one more thing. I want to hold a session maybe after about 3 days or maybe in the coming week, at least 3 days before the start of the interviews, just to address any queries that may still be there after you have watched the ONGC and the HPCL videos. It's only for that, right? Even if you are meeting the cutoff requirements, you have a chance. Chaitanya says, I have teaching experience of 1 year. Should I show it or not? If you have experience letter, yes, you should show it. It helps you to cover the gap. Please do show. Okay, I think that's about it. We'll come to the end of the session now. Most of the questions that you have posed written by way of your in YouTube or in Zoom, I think I have answered most of them. Akhila, you probably joined late. Just go through the details in the ONGC session. You'll get the answer. Otherwise, even in the mail that I'm sending, I'm covering this aspect. Work experience of 6 months, currently unemployed. The company did not provide experience certificate. If you have the payslips of 6 months, yes, that can prove to be your work experience. Interview date, Keshav, no, they don't care about your request for change of interview date. You don't even read, you're not even read your interview call letter, perhaps. Don't mention about PhD. Don't mention about joining PhD. That is what I'm saying. Internship, few days, I didn't have internship experience letter because I got terminated without my knowledge. Don't even mention it in the biodata form. Don't even mention it in the biodata form. Otherwise, you are inviting trouble for yourself. Jason, they may give you a separate form for travel allowance. They may give you at the site itself when you go for go to the center for your interview. All right. You already have my email ID. It's being displayed at the back of this thing. It's dkarora@medz.in. Let me write in the chat here also in the YouTube. dkarora@medz.in is my email ID. In case you have any queries, you can write to me, but furnishing complete details. Selvan, they may not ask questions. They will not ask you questions about ANSYS and CATIA, etc. No, they don't. They don't. They are in for checking your knowledge, nothing else. Okay. All right. I think we'll call it a day. Thank you very much for joining this session and having the patience to go through the entire session, right? And hopefully you have benefited from joining. Ankur, I've answered your question. I don't have idea about PWD cutoff, Ankur. I'm sorry. Question from Chaitanya, I have already answered. I think all the questions are answered. And thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you once again, maybe after about 3 days, but that will be by way of Zoom only. All right. Thanks a lot. My best wishes to all of you. Prepare thoroughly. That is all I will say. And don't miss the basics. Don't miss the basics. Okay. Thank you and best wishes to all of you. NOC is not given by BEL after joining, as the case with all other PSUs. They are no different. Okay. Best wishes once again. Work hard, practice speaking, and do very well. Thank you.